I'm Mel and we're making this real-time Premo Sculpey Polymer Clay egg stand with a baby dragon on it. It's a great start to learning how to make a baby dragon out of polymer clay, which is why I highly encourage you to watch the video to pick up valuable skills so you can learn, and click on the links at the end to see other polymer clay baby dragons. This egg stand is perfect for Faberge thumbtack resin or polymer clay or any kind of eggs. And to start your Premo egg stand, roll a large gold coil of polymer clay. I use Premo Sculpey clay because it's nice and soft. However, use whichever brand you like and wind it into a spiral like this. We've started with a point on one end and ended with a thicker end, and make sure your clay is conditioned and give it a nice press down with your finger so it bonds together and smooth away any of the blemishes. In this area, we'll add the baby dragon head. Before we do that, here is a 78mm egg I'm going to show you right now, and whatever ball or egg size you're using, it's a good idea to push down and indent the spiral. Push it down firmly in the middle, rocking it evenly back and forth and side to side a few times. Then it's got a nice solid base to sit on and it fits perfectly. There you go. Smooth it down. You can still see the spiral on the bottom. I'll turn it over in just a moment. There's the spiral there. Roll a ball for the head of the baby dragon. Next step is to use your finger to roll it into a cone shape. Use your fingers to round the cone shape even more and just smooth it out as you go. I'm still smoothing it here. So I'm just squishing a little bit on the other end now, tapping a little bit, squishing it with my thumbs a little bit, rounding it out until you're happy. And this is the shape that we're going for. It's kind of like a rounded teardrop. Now grab a Sculpey ball tool. You could also use the end of a paintbrush if you like. Decide how far apart you want the eyes to be and mark it out with a tool. I actually used a needle tool, you can see here. Make sure that the marks for the eyes are level and both the same distance from the center of the nose. Let's do that now. So pushing in the tool, trying to push it in at the same depth as well. And these cat's eye beads work really, really well. Any beads that you actually have lying around, they could be any type of crystal, and we can hide the holes so that you can't see them, or you can always use cabochons if you like. Stick them in with some Sculpey Bacon Bond or Sculpey TLS, which is short for translucent liquid Sculpey. Pop them in and lightly press them down. It's coming together. Pop them in. We've done that, and we'll move on to some silver Premo Sculpey Polymer Clay and rolling it into very thin coils for the eyelids. Roll the ends into a very fine point. Sometimes this is easier to do on just a sheet of printer paper as it absorbs some of the oil. These are 2 centimeters long. Roll the other ends a little bit just to round them out and just neaten them up just a smidge. Curl them around the top of the eye, hiding the whole of the bead, just like that. And you can press them gently around the back of the head for now. Don't squish too hard. You might decide that you want them somewhere else. Here's what he looks like with it on both sides. Indent the nose and gently make a channel pulling up the baby dragon's head. You can use that Sculpey bowl tool again if you like, or your preferred modeling tool. So we're squishing and pushing that cute little nose up. A little channel. Woo! And let's squish the very tip of the nose as well. Just keep experimenting and exploring what the clay does and how it kind of shapes when you kind of push it around a little bit. And I've got a shaper tool here, and I'm just pushing really gently, pressing very gently, taking my time, just being patient with it. You can always add clay or take clay away, and you can just experiment and see what happens, and that's just makes it so much fun. You can smooth it as you go. You might want to make a little hole in the mouth there and pop a tool in there so his mouth is open. There are just so many possibilities making this little dragon your own little dragon. And I'm putting a little smile on his face just by dragging the tool up a tiny bit. He's got a little smile. That's always good. Smooth along as you go. And do the same to the other side. The nostrils are made with a small dotting tool. You could use a toothpick, a skewer. The end of a bobby pin works really well if you have a bobby pin. And make them nice and even if you like. Make 2 more coils and put the fine point in the corner as we did before. However, this time we're going along the bottom part of the eye. Follow the edge of the eye. It's always a good thing to do. So we've got the fine point there at the very start, helping to cover up that hole if there's still any hole left of the bead that you can see. You can pop that on top of it. And let's chop it up and under that top eyelid. Then just press it down a little bit so it's nice and neat. And then you can repeat it on the other side. You don't have to do this step if you don't want to. I think it looks nice. Here it is on both sides. Roll a ball of gold clay for the ears and then cut it in half and roll those into 2 separate balls. And smush it down and pinch one end to make a teardrop shape. Then smush it down again and make sure you have 2 teardrops pointing in different directions. Add some small coils to the top edge, and then, yes, 2 different directions. That's what I was showing you with my fingers there. So add the small coils to the top edge and press them down gently. Nice and gently, that's the way. And squidge it in a bit of a V shape. Doing that now. Just squidging it in. Kind of looks like a little gold leaf, doesn't it? Chop off a little bit so it's on an angle so it's easier to join to the head. And here it is again. I'm just going to show you that again, and you can try to match it to the other ear if you want the ears to be symmetrical. They don't have to be symmetrical. You can have a little dragon who's got a lot of character and isn't exactly symmetrical. He could be a goofy little dragon. And I think sometimes when things are asymmetrical, they look very organic and they've got a lot of character. So yeah, just have a go. You could really surprise yourself with the things that you can do and happy little accidents that can happen. So we're just putting some wire into the ear and then putting it into the little baby dragon's head. So I applied some bacon bond there, you saw as well. And blend it onto the head with your preferred modeling tool. You can use a fingernail if you like. Your hands are the best tools that you have, honestly. And I've rolled some gold horns, which I'm going to strengthen with some more wire as well. Any bits that really stick out are good to put a wire armature into. It's called a wire armature, which is what I'm doing with the baby dragon head now in just a moment. So the horns are nice and strong. I'm going to put that gem in, glue it in a little bit later. So yeah, because that head is sticking out quite a bit, well, I'm going to use a thicker bit of aluminium wire. So we really want to use that bacon bond to make sure it's a good, strong join. If you're going to use wire in any part of this, I would definitely use it in attaching the head to the body. And just make a rough measurement to make sure it's not going to poke out anywhere you don't want it to poke out. I like to pop a little toothpick in there just to get it all started so it doesn't kind of bend it out of shape too much. Look-a-boo, looking good. So now we're going to blend the neck up onto the head and make it nice and strong again. So we're just hiding that join, making it nice and smooth, and we're going to go over that later as well with some scales. So don't get too panickety pants about that bit if you don't want to. And add as many different gems and horns and decorations that you would like. Please consider liking and subscribing to my channel and sharing it with your friends to help me keep this channel going. I'm a chronically ill and disabled artist. I live in Australia. I'd really appreciate your support. It would be so amazing. And thank you so much to my existing supporters who have subscribed and who leave just the most amazing comments and amazing stories about how they've gone with their projects and their baby dragons and their eggs and all of the little things that they're making, and just having a lot of fun and just loving it. I just love hearing all of those stories and all of that positive feedback. Thanks guys, you're amazing. So I just popped in a tool to make a little bit of an indent so that the gem sits nice and flush with the head. That little tool is amazing. I'll try and leave a link to that in the description box. You could always use a pointy cotton tip or cotton bud to kind of clean around the edge if you like. And lo and behold, there's more wire. I'm still popping in more horns and bits and pieces, and I always use a lot of armature and wire. It has to be nice and strong because I sell these things in my Etsy shop, and I don't know, it's just the way that I do things. You don't have to if you don't want to. Anyway, this is a Kemper cutter tool. It is so easy to use, and you can just cut out all of these little teardrop shapes, lay them down in any pattern that you'd like. I made a very complicated mixture of green clay, but you can use any color green polymer clay that you have handy. You just need to mix some blue and yellow together of some sort, and you get a nice green color. So apply the green coloured polymer clay scales however you would like. You could use so many different patterns here. You could turn the scales the other way around. They don't have to be the direction that I popped them on. I feel it's really important to add some thick wire to the head, so if it gets knocked, it won't break off. So other people don't really bother with all the armature that I put in, but I really like to do this, and especially an area like this. So I pop it in and then I squidge the hole closed with a small ball of clay. So as before, I just started it with the toothpick and just popping it in as far as it can go, and just squidging it in a little bit more so we don't have a piece of wire sticking out, so we don't not cut our finger on that. This is really going to help make this so strong. There's a little small ball of clay, squidging it on, and then we're going to smooth it out. You can use your fingernail to do that. You don't need this fancy pants tool. I hope your baby dragon looks amazing and you're having lots of fun. Any little bits that need cleaning, you can use some isopropyl alcohol 99% with a soft sable-y type or synthetic brush, and that will clean up anything that's left over. Don't forget to click on the links at the end, because there are other Premo egg stands you can make that also start with this simple spiral design that will make your eggs present beautifully as a part of your home decor. They are simple, easy, interesting, adventurous and fun, and I encourage you to keep exploring the possibilities. Now you know the basic steps. Thank you so much for joining me in this video, and I'll see you in the next one.